Conflict resolution is the informal or formal process the two or more parties use to find a peaceful solution to their dispute. Marriage is one of such parties that in one way or another encounters different conflicts. How do you resolve conflicts in your marriage? Stay tuned as Dr. Njeriga Shohi takes us through today's lesson.
Yes, welcome again to the Marriage Classroom, and we are glad that you are here again to learn more. And I believe that we are also implementing more, isn't it?
Yes.
We are not only hearers of the word as the Bible says, but also doers. And we also want to welcome our viewers also that are watching us wherever they are, and want to tell you welcome to the Marriage Classroom. I believe that you also what we can call the student without walls. You are outside our walls, but you're also part of our class. So thank you. Last time we learned about how to resolve conflicts, and we looked at the stages, and not really stages, but some steps you can follow. They don't have to be in that order, but sometimes when you look at them, there's a way they lead you up to the end, isn't it? Yes. And in our last class discussion, I had you discussing about what makes it difficult to resolve conflicts. Those barriers, when we have our ego, and then we don't want to say sorry, and even sometimes we also want to, justify exactly why we said what we said or did what we did. And sometimes we don't want to solve. Okay? Mm-hmm. And at the end of it, we summarize that beyond all that, there could be, migogoro inaweza kuwa mingi, iziende makabiliano, kutofautiana, kutoelewana. Lakini at the end of it, what helps so much? The antidote you realize when there is love and forgiveness. And so today I believe that we will be able to learn more about how to do it practically. I mean, we are going to look at how we can solve a conflict. And we help a couple as our case study how to solve a conflict. But before that, I still remember a funny comment that I saw. In the penguins of Madagascar, my son loved watching King Julian. Now, King Julian is this strict monkey. They called the ringtails, the ringtail monkey, found more in India. There's King Julian who says that he can't, when he is wrong, he says, I can't apologize, because those who apologize are those who are weak and wrong, yeah? Because I'm not weak, neither am I wrong. But that time he's even very wrong. But according to him, he says apologies are for those who are weak and those who are wrong. And I believe that is wrong. It's not correct. We don't apologize because we are weak. We apologize because we know we have done wrong, and also we want to mend the relationship. Is that okay? Yes. Now, to help us learn or remember more, the steps looked so many, and you don't want to be going 1, 2, 3, or up to 11. We are going to use the acronym or the name conflict to help us solve conflicts, okay? Yes. We are using the word, and that will be easier to remember so that you don't have to cram, but remembering, now we are in a conflict. How do we use the word conflict also to help us to solve the word conflict? Now we are adapting it or getting it from a book which any one of us can be able to access, called Total Marriage by Jeffrey and Patty Jean Brown. They have written a very good book called Total Marriage, though I have also added some few things on the acronym. So we are resolving conflicts. Now we are using the word conflict to help us. So if you can write it as going down, conflict, and we'll be able to summarize all that we've learned and then use our case of John and Mary. Now, you can remember and you can help me because from all what we did, what do you think C would stand for if we are now starting to solve conflict? Yes, Carol.
Choose time and place.
Correct. We said you must choose the correct time or the best, not the correct. Let's say best. Yeah. Choose best time and place. Where do you want? Because this is very important. Time and place. or even space, because if you don't, then you lose out on the way you're going to solve it, okay? Let's see. George?
Solve one issue at a time.
Yes, one issue at a time. So don't confound one issue at a time. Don't confound so many things. They may be there, we said we don't ignore them. But if that is not what first came or presented it, in counseling we call it the presenting problem. So you first handle the presenting problem, then we have other things that may come, and you find they are also going to help. So, N, it may not be just with the what you call it, the order as we did it, but it's part of what we said can be done. As you continue talking, so what we should not do? I said one of the things I said, NB.
No put downs.
Yes, we call them, correct. We call them the no-nos. No-nos. So what you should never do. It was part of our NAB. So we said you should not do what? Because somebody we are doing one thing at a time. But now if somebody does not want to dwell on that one and keeps interrupting, what do you do? So part of what we should never do. Yes, Grace.
Do not put someone out.
Yes, don't put out like kuzima mtu. You know, or put down. You know, you can be put down, lakini unazimwa wakati mwingine unaweza ongea una vile unaongea kama okay. I don't think we ever go to that extent, but I remember my son one time getting really affected. He had braces, and so sometimes, he likes argument. So they are talking in school and all that, and so I think a boy just who had like wanted to put him down on sema, you know, what does that do? It hurt him so much because he came and told me. But you know, I realize when there are people, when you find you're losing an argument, you just
Attack negatively.
yes, that was bad. So the no, and I pray that I hope at that mature level, when grown-ups are in conflict, do not tell one another unaongea kama nyang'au. Okay. Yes.
Never use ultimate words. Like never. You will never change.
You will never change. You always.
You always.
Yes. Okay. We never use that to part of the no-nos. What else did we say? No, you don't do? Yes.
No characterization.
Yes, no character assassination. You just don't try to tell so and so, oh, na unakaa kama so and so, how you are behaving like your mother, you are doing it like your father, or you know, it doesn't matter. There is a way we put people, off by trying to character assassinate them. Okay, so those are no-nos, and there may be many, but that is part of what we say. And then we can also add, in this case, no threats are the same no-nos. So don't threaten, don't say, hii tusiposuluhisha mimi naenda kwetu. Or, hii kama hatufanyi, this one, sema tumemaliza. In Kikuyu we say nitoima mno. Umetokana. Tumetokano. Yes, so it is not an issue, or we don't say that I am not going to do this, or if you don't do this, don't threaten. So no threats. Then again we said no yelling. Remember that time when we said part of the bad communicator is the one who yells. You can imagine you are solving a conflict, and then you go up high level, and all of us are yelling one another. I am saying, and then the other one said, you are not listening. Then no, you either call the fire brigade.
Emotional distance.
Yes, the emotional distance. When people are shouting at one another, means they are even emotionally distant. And there are people, anytime they are solving a conflict, either you keep the number of fire brigade or the 911. Okay, because it should not go to that level. Yelling, outbursts, and another thing that we can also say, no sarcasm. Sarcasm is so bad. We say, wewe unajua kuongea. Endelea. In whichever way, that one also cuts deep. It does not help, So sarcasm, let's not be sarcastic, okay? Then we can move on to F. Yes, Carol?
You find solution.
Yes, we said now that we have handling an issue, we can say let's find all possible solutions. Find all possible solutions. We can call them all possibilities. What can we do to improve that situation? It is this way, it is this way. We have this issue, our children are misbehaving, and you can't say it's you are the cause. Let's look at the problem. So how do we solve it? So find all possible solutions. Then we can look at L. What should we do? Yes,
Listen effectively.
yes, we said listen effectively or actively. Effectively, actively, and all that means you are listening to do what?
To understand.
To understand, to be able to know what is going through the other person. Because if you listen in a way that you are waiting for your time now, anyamalize halafu, na kama ni monologa kama vile tunasema utagojea, anakuambia sijamaliza. Aya, sijamaliza, so unagoja. So hata kama ulikuwa na mpango wa answer the first minute, najua utaendelea kugoja. So if you listen and the person feels you have heard him, he will stop, or you have heard her, she will stop. Lakini akiona hausikizi, ataendelea kusisitiza. Okay? And then you continue, and it's on and on, and you never be able to. Okay? Yes, then I. Yes.
Implement agreed solutions.
Yes, we implement. Now we've already found there. So let's plan to implement those solutions. So what have we come up with? Or what have we agreed on? Let's say we will be talking to one another respectively, like what Grace was saying. You, at the end of it, you agree on something. We are going to implement. What will be your part? What will be my part? So each one of us takes, this does not mean that we are implementing it's not that when we have to go and start something or a business, but implementation is this. What is my role now? What will I be doing to avoid further conflict? What do you implement now? Because at the end of it, we should come up with something that we've already agreed. Then the C. Yes, still.
Consider my point.
Yes, you can also consider my point or each other's point. What does that mean? Each one of us may have talked about this issue. It could be that there was also my part that was never regarded. So we can say you can either consider each other's opinion, or sometimes we say you can also check the effectiveness of what you're implementing, okay?
Yes.
So this is not cast in stone. So you can be able to say, now that we have said we implement this, is it effective? Is that the best way? What about we have, can we look for a better way? So you keep checking. Is there something we can improve on what we have agreed to implement? So you are checking whether it is. And then the last part, if now we have solved it, or we have realized we have reached somewhere and it's like we need help, what do we do? Grace?
You tell it in love.
Yes, you can tell it in love. Tell in love, never forget. But also if still it becomes hard, you can tell it to who?
God.
To God. This is the time now you decide. Let's say this is something that is also affecting us. Can we pray about it? Can we tell it to God? You can also even reach here, we can also say, you can also tell it to someone.
Yes.
What about we have conflicted on an issue and you no longer can be able to talk well? We call it now, it's already toxic. You cannot sit together and talk because somehow it's accused, it's a back and forth. Sometimes you may need a referee. And sometimes people think going to see a counselor or a pastor or somebody or a mentor to help you is like you're weak. No. Sometimes you may have gotten into a situation where it's so toxic to the fact that you cannot even be able to sit together. Anytime, it's either you fight or you abuse one another, or the words that come out hurt more. So it confounds the situation. You are solving about children. Now it is how you have talked to me. Now, there was an issue where somebody was saying that kila mtu kila saa akimuongelesha na mkodolea macho. You know, you have an issue and it's like the lady, the way she would talk is, let's say you have a conflict, but now it comes to talking my time, na muongelesha hivi. So the man has now, he stopped now listening to me, the issue, asa anaambia, wacha kunikodolea macho. Now you don't wonder, now do I close them and I talk to you when I've closed my eyes? But in a way of being able to emphasize the point, there is that time when you find you are a bit agitated, and you may find yourself in a demeanor that somebody may think you are aggressive. But it's like you are, but you know, the man had issue. So instead of solving the issue, now it is how you are looking at me or at him or the other person you are shouting. So I think there are those times when we may need to get somebody who hears us and tell us, maybe you can do this, you can do this. After that, you are on your own. And I believe it's somebody who is trustworthy, so that it is not going to be, again, another issue now. Yes. Okay? Yes. So we've said you can tell it, you tell it in love. As you said, here we said love. Covering a multitude of sin, forgiving and not, but we said tell it to God, but also you can tell it to what? To someone. And this someone is not everyone. If you cannot trust and I think I want to say this. Before you go to your parents, whichever, because you see, parents are never like what you call neutral. They are not neutral people. Why? Because if it is my parent, and I have gone with my case with my husband, even though I may be in the wrong, sometimes there is a way they try to, you know, ile hata kitu kibaya ni chetu. Yeah, ile unasema wengine wanasema hata kama ni mwizi ni wetu. Hiyo ni baya. It's very hard. Every time he will find like he has not been heard. The same way, if we go to the man's family, anytime there is an issue, I always find like I am on the wrong, or you on your own. So the best thing, even before you go to your parents, I would advise that we go first, either to our mentors. If not, we go to our counselors, and we can also go to our pastors. Those who are trained in the issues of counseling. Otherwise, utajisikia kwa pulpit the next Sunday, and then after that you realize, oh God, he may not say the name. Unajua, kuna hau dada na ukimwona hapa akiiba, lakini mambo ile inaenda, you know, and you realize it is me. Okay? Kuna hawa, so it's also not good. But I believe we have pastors who God has helped them and given them wisdom, and they can counsel, and you get that one who can help you. If not, go to a marriage counselor or go to your mentor. As long as you know, tunasema ni dustbin na iko na kifuniko. You have to look for a dustbin that has a lid. Kwa sababu ikiwa haina lid utaweka hapo, alafu mnakutana na kitu yako, unaona ile isiye ni ile kidangari niliweka hapo hiyo na unaikuta hapo. That is it. So now we have a case which we may discuss here. If the class is over, we still go and continue discussion, okay? Yes. So this is the case that we are going to look at and help them. So a case study of a couple called John and Mary. Okay, nasi wewe John, kama wewe unaitwa John, na kama ni Mary. So John and Mary have had a serious conflict recently about finances. John feels that Mary is spending all her money on her hair, clothes, shoes, and makeup instead of helping John meet their family needs, such as house rent, home budget, or the school fees of the children. But Mary believes that it is the responsibility of her husband to take care of the family. So Mary thinks John is not working hard enough to provide for his family, and Now John is feeling like he's tired, unappreciated, and stressed out, to the fact that he feels like he doesn't want to go and work. Now, the conflict is, we have not enough money, you're spending, you're not bringing home enough. When ni mwanaume, ile watu wanauliza, wasagapi, kama
Asubuhi wa kutoka nyumbani.
kutoka na aleti kitu. So now, if you were to help this couple, looking at what we have said, how would you help them? Maybe at first step, what do you think would be your how to help them?
Not necessarily.
Just we
In that
call it
order.
brainstorming, yes.
Lakini kitu moja nimerealize hapo, the real conflict is money, and which they may not be communicating effectively with about. And John is feeling that this lady Mary is using all her money. I actually underline that, all her money on hair. I wonder whether that one is true or just hair.
Yes, the word.
All her money. I think it is the no-nos that we are saying, generalization. All her money. She may not necessarily be using, but maybe using on herself other than the family. So first and foremost is to recognize, they need to recognize what is the issue here.
So the issue is money. But now that's not enough. And they have to, okay, let's get it from Carol.
I think from that case, the couple have not sat down and agreed on things. Because if you look at Mary and the assumption of John that Mary is spending all her money on shoes, hair, and makeup, I think they have not sit down and agreed. Because if, for example, you can come with makeup, you can come with shoes, you can come with hair, maybe it's a debt, you know, you didn't buy, so you're supposed to pay it in installment. So if they're going to sit down and agree, I think now John will realize hii ni mkopo. Ni ya kulipa every ya fuliza.
Which will make it worse.
Yeah,
So maybe amepewa ya installment, atakuwa nalipa pole pole. So I think a major thing here is the communication. They have not even sat down and agreed on how they are going to spend the money and even how they are going to work as a couple for the betterment of their marriage.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we are saying that they need first to identify what is their key issue now.
Yes.
And we are saying there could, as you said, money, but there seems to be lack of communication. And then, yes.
Pia nafikiri kwamba it is good to identify the genesis of this issue that they are having, conflicting about finances.
Yes.
And when did it start?
True.
How did it start? Why did it start? Kwa sababu labda the husband kama vile tumeona is handling everything in that marriage, pertaining finances.
Okay.
Ndiye alipe rent, watoto, nini, all the provisions. But inawezekana ya kwamba Mary wakati alipata kazi, John akiwa anabeba huo mzigo comfortably without complaining. Na wakati Mary amepata hiyo kazi na akaanza kupata mshahara, they did not receipt. Hawakuketi tena so that they can delegate roles and responsibilities. So wakati Mary amepata kazi na amepata pesa, anajua John anaendelea na ile shughuli yake ya provision.
So I get you. There are three things that have come out, okay? The issue could be the finance is not enough. Now, there is also the issue that they have not communicated.
Yes.
Then there is also the issue that their roles and responsibility have not been defined.
Yes.
To the fact that If
Yeah,
John has
okay.
been doing it,
Yes.
why can't he do it?
Na yeye kwa sababu alikuwa labda kwa muda amepiga kazi. Sasa niko na kazi, pesa ndio hii hapa. Hii zile nywele zote huwa ninatamani na viatu. Kwanza nimalizane na hiyo shughuli ya kustock.
Okay, let's hear from Samuel and then I'll hear it from Kate.
They are not considering each other. Yeah.
Yes, we said people should consider one another.
Yes.
Considering, yes. And as he says, there could have been either the beginning, there was no issues. Now we have children now.
Yes.
So the budget is more. It's higher. Kate?
That's what feels. John has concluded without knowing where Mary finds her money to buy the hair. So he has concluded
That all the money is over. Yes, there is some assumptions. Grace?
In that marriage, they don't have the same goals. There is this one ambaye huyu John anajua niko na familia na wako na familia pamoja na Mary. But now Mary anataka majukumu yote kama ni ya watoto na nini na chakula kwa nyumba iwe ni ya mtu mmoja. And yet Mary is also earning.
Yes.
Vile wangeketi wakubaliane waambiane kwa sababu hii ndoa ni yetu na wewe na watoto ni wetu, tunafaa tusaidiane.
Yes.
Because once watu wako na mwelekeo mmoja wanaweza kuwa wanasaidiana. Mmoja si ati zake ni za makeups na nywele na huyu mwingine zake ndizo za familia.
Yes, now, Constance.
Maybe nayo inawezekana Mary alielewa ati mambo ya nyumba yote responsibility ni ya bwana, lakini ikikuja kwa mke yeye anajuanga tu kazi yake ni kupata watoto, so mambo ingine yote kukaa kufanyiwa kila kitu yote ni bwana, lakini mimi kazi yangu ninajua yangu, so yeye amestick hiyo akijua pesa ikiwa ni yake ni yake. So wangehitaji wapate counseling.
That's very good. In fact, you realize that we're almost trying to assume, or not really assume, but we are try to get the real problem. What could it be? And that's what he's saying. If there is also some part of what we call it, there is some background. Okay, where uliingia kwa doa, pengine vile, I don't know, you know, one of the discussion I had you saying, kwenu kama kulikuwa namna hii, unakuja. So you came from a family where the mother alikuwa wa kujipamba tu, the man was doing everything, mpaka huyu hata alikuwa analetewa ya kwenda shopping kwa kujipamba, but the man, the job was enough to cater for all the needs. I know sometimes we have come from that family where the man is the source. Yes. Now you come here, you are both of you starting life, and it's not where you say I saw at my place, so it can also affect. And let me get from George.
There can also be influence from other quarters.
You say the correct
ya kwamba mimi kwangu my husband provides everything na wa kwangu haniulizangi pesa zangu. So pesa zangu ni zangu za mume ni zetu. So there can be that influence from other quarters. And it has really affected many families. True. That I do ABCD because I heard from somebody else ya kwamba hata kwake wanakaa kwa njia fulani. So there is no that psychological independence ya kwamba I can think for myself and my family. I can plan for my own life. True. Without entirely depending on vile wengine wanasema. So yawezekana Mary ameambiwa pesa zako usipatie mwanaume. Mwanaume wachana na shughuli zake na majukumu, pesa zako ni zako.
Na kama ni kule wanasema mwanamke ni mtoto, unajua watoto wangu.
Oh, yes.
So let the man take care of watoto.
And therefore that can lead to ya kwamba kwa sababu mimi ni pesa zangu anapungukiwa na majukumu, so she goes on to buy nywele baada ya nywele na viatu, just trying to fix the money.
There's the excessive, yes. Now you realize we're not exhausted, because this is part of what we are going to discuss. We need to help. We need to help John and Mary to come up with a way of resolving their conflict. Once, now that we know they will have chosen a good time, I mean a place and place, I mean time and place, and they are handling this issue, and we have already have come to the fact that they have already understood their problem. Now, I want us to start here. Now, you go in the discussion, find ways of helping them to understand another, whether it is from the background, whether it is from the fact they have not been communicating, whether it is the fact that money has not been spent well, then you come with the solutions, how you're going to help Mary. And I believe also our viewers, you're also going to solve this, discuss among you, because could there also be a problem among you? Would you be able to come up with us, following what we have learned about resolving conflict, how you're going to resolve this conflict of not enough finances, or they may be there but not being used in the right way. So I want to dismiss you to your class discussion, and this is what you're going to work on. So I can say class dismissed. Thank you. Thank you.
Colossians 3 verse 14, and above all this, put on love and enfold yourself with the bond of perfectness, which binds everything together completely in ideal harmony. In today's discussion during the break,
katika darasa tumesoma about resolving conflicts, na mwalimu ametuelezea kuhusu, tukaelezwa what is conflict, na tukasoma mambo mengi kutoka hapo. Na kulikuwa na hii kesi ambayo tumefunzwa na mwalimu ya about John na Mary, na nilikuwa nataka tuweze kuidiscuss tukiwa kwa pamoja, tuweze kupea hii jamii solution ambayo tulikuwa tumesoma kwa darasa, hata na wao waweze kuendelea na marriage mzuri. So John alikuwa tuseme ni kama yeye ndio aliachiwa mzigo yote ya hiyo jamii, na Mary naye pesa zake hatujui kama alikuwa anafanya kazi ama alikuwa anatoa wapi pesa, lakini kwa kulingana na mimi naona ni kama alikuwa anafanya kazi. So ningetaka tuweze kujua ni kwa nini hii jamii inapitia hivi, ni nini tunaweza wasaidia. Mmoja wangu anaweza nisaidia kama yeye.
Kuna kitu hapa ambayo John anaona Mary pesa zake zote anajitumia yeye kwa mambo zake, Mary anatumia pesa zake kwa mambo yake. Lakini kuna kitu yenye John hapa anafeel hayuko appreciated. Apart from ana provide kila kitu kwa hiyo nyumba, anafeel hayuko appreciated, so anakuwa na stress. So Mary hapo tunaweza angalia kitu ambayo tunaambia find the solution. Hawaja find solution ya kwa hiyo nyumba, wanafaa kufind the solution.
Ukiangalia katika hii even akisema kwamba yako find solution, the major thing they're supposed to do is to sit down and discuss, because you find everyone feels that you are the person who is not hardworking. That is Mary feels that John is not hardworking. Then even John feels that Mary is not is using all her money for makeup and everything else. But when I think as a couple you're supposed to sit down and discuss. Si kama ile pesa yangu ni yangu na yako ni yetu. That is a notion that people usually enter in marriage with. But I'm thinking when you're married, you're supposed to sit down and discuss and try as much as possible, especially this time of economic, and COVID-19 has had impact in our economic times. I think as couples, sit down and discuss. So that hata kama unachukua rent, unachukua nyumba, rent, unachukua like bills, mwingine anachukua food, anachukua nguo za kununulia nguo watoto, at least that one will ease the burden, and even the conflict is going to be narrower. That each and every person will consider one another. And even anaangalia, okay fine, wewe hata kama unalipwa pesa fulani, what can you do? What best can you do? Because as women, you are very good at makeup and everything else. If you are not going to be sitting down and discuss as couples, 3/4 of our money I think itaingia huko kwa makeups na hair.
Na huenda John na Mary hawajaketi tangu Mary aanze kupata fedha. ili waweze kukubaliana ya kwamba majukumu yetu katika ndoa hii yameanza hapa mpaka pale. So hilo jambo linaweza kuwa ni shida ya finances katika ndoa, na huenda hawajaketi wakubaliane ya kwamba hapa tuna watoto, hapa tuna rent ya kulipa, hapa tuna other bills za kusettle, ili naye Mary aweze kuwa incorporated into the family finances na financial management, ili aweze kujua ya kwamba kama mzigo wetu ni wa 50,000 kwa mwezi na mume wangu anapata 30, ili John aache naye kusikia ya kwamba amechoka, ameachiliwa, waweze kuketi wakubaliane ya kwamba ni wapi Mary unaweza saidia, ili John ashike pati yake moja ama pati kadhaa, na yeye Mary aweze kushughulikia pati kadhaa. But that can be a problem of lack of communication to delegate responsibilities and roles. Kwa hivyo inabidi waketi, iwapo wanataka watapata kesi yao ni ya aina hii, kwa sababu we are assuming that inaweza kuwa na sources kadhaa. Kama kesi yao ni kama hii, kuna umuhimu wa wao kuketi, John and Mary waketi, wasemezane, waambiane shida zetu zimeanza hapa, ama majukumu yetu yameanza hapa mpaka hapa, na pesa uwezo wetu ni kuanzia hapa mpaka hapa.
Sasa mimi nilikuwa nauliza hii swali kulingana na saa hii generation yetu tuko saa hii ni wakati wa kusaidiana kwa mmoja na mwingine. Lakini unakumbuka tuende kwa shushu yako na guka yako. Ukienda umuelezee umpe hii solution, wanasema wao wako wanafanya kazi. Especially ladies wako wanaenda kazi. Ni mwanaume ndio anafaa aende atafute alete. So tuseme Mary alizaliwa na kapata hivyo. Hebu tupeni answer hapo.
Ndio sababu I wanted to interject somehow on what you were saying. Kwa sababu kulingana na zile solution tumepata hapa kutoka kwa Carol na kutoka kwa George, ni ya kwamba wanastahili kuketi na kuongea. Lakini in class kulikuwa na hii ya kwamba uone, you see my perspective. Ile imeandikwa 9 ama 6. Unaiona ikiwa 6 ukiwa pande yako, ukuje pande yangu. Kwa sababu sasa hiyo ya kwamba pengine huyu Mary alitoka katika jamii ambayo baba yake ndiye alikuwa anafanya kila kitu ambayo inafanya husiana na pesa. Hata wakikutana ati waongee, yeye atakuwa akona shida ya kuuliza, but you are the man of the house, you are the one who is supposed to do this, you know. Lakini ni vizuri first and foremost they come wajue ya kwamba they should come out of those mindsets. Mahali ambapo familia ile nimetoka, ama kama vile we are supposing sometimes ya kwamba huyu hakuwa na kazi wakati walioana, baadaye akapata. Na kwa hivyo anastahili kuchukua majukumu mengine, na pengine majukumu inaendelea kuwa mengi. So the first thing is to change their mindsets. They need to change their mindsets concerning money.
Okay. Hawa watu wako kwa ndoa. Mary and John are married. Na wakati walikuwa wanaoana, hata katika wakati wowote ndoa harusi inafanyika, ama watu wanaoana, unasikia wanasema changu ni chako na chako ni changu. So hapa hakuna ati hii ni yangu ama hii ni yako. Hapana. So hata kama ni kazi Mary anafanya na walikuwa wamekubaliana, chako ni changu na changu ni chako. Mary asiseme mimi pesa yangu ni yangu na wewe ndiye mume, kwa hivyo pesa yako uwekelee hapa tuipangie. They are supposed to agree. As Mary, kama Mary anafanya kazi, akuje na yake. Na yeye John kama anafanya kazi, akuje na yake. Wakubaliane. Because like kitu kama some 3 to 2 weeks kuna msichana alikuja nyumbani kwetu. Na akawa anatuambia wako na kijana lakini wanapanga kuoana. Tukawa tunamuuliza, when are you planning to get married? Akatuambia yeye akikuwa alipata mama yake ndiye anajilipia everything. Mama yake akona bwana. But akawa anatuambia yeye hawezi akaolewa kama hajafikia mahali pa kufanya kazi, awe na pesa zake kwa mfuko, asiwe anasema kila wakati kwa mume wake asaidiwe. So kuna ile mentality ambayo imeingia kwa wasichana wa saa hizi ya kwamba mimi ni lazima kama ninaolewa nikuwe na pesa. Na yeye mwanaume unapata ya kwamba like sasa vile Mary na John walioana, maybe Mary hakuwa kazi na John alikuwa kazi. Ikafika mahali Mary sasa ameanza kupata pesa. Ni vizuri tunapooana tukuwe tumekubaliana chochote tutakachopata kwa maisha, wacha tukifanya pamoja.
Lakini ukikuja ukiangalia katika hii I think ya Mary na John, mi naona ni kwamba kukanda hawajakaa. Kwa sababu wangekuwa wameketi chini, I don't think they'll have these problems. Because I can say like me, I was raised by a widow, you know, and you know widow is everything. So here you come now, you are getting married. You automatically, I was a go-getter, you know. I know that you cannot have a good life if you cannot do a lot of work or hard working. But when you come here, you have met the love of your life, you're supposed to sit down and discuss. Because hapo ulikuwa unajua ukifanya kazi, wewe ni pesa ni yako. Hakuna mtu mwenye ambaye anatakikana kukuelezea how you're supposed to work or to plan your money. But here you come. That's why I think they were how you are brought up. Now you change that mentality. The two shall become one. Now bring your culture, bring how you are brought up, bring whatever that you are needing, so that when you sit down, you'll see, okay, fine, this one is based on agreement. Can we agree on this 1, 2, and 3 so that you can see, so that you can even have this conflict of people, especially in marriage, that wacha tusiishi milimani, tuishi mahali fulani on a neutral ground whereby all of us can have access to our workplace.
Nafikiri kuna jambo moja pia, wakiketi ama ikiwa wameketi hapo mbeleni, because you know it's something about tuna information yote. Ikiwa wameketi na hawajaelewana na ama wakiketi na wakose kuelewana, I think it is important for them to involve a financial consultant. Waketi chini waseme, because the issue here is resolving around money. Hatujaambiwa ya kwamba wako na conflict aina ingine. Kwa hivyo maybe they may involve the third party who could be able to help them plan their finances.
I think it is also very important wanapoketi na maybe financial consultant awasaidie jinsi ya kupanga pesa. Ni muhimu pia ya kwamba waketi time to time. In a marriage, you cannot handle finances once katika maisha yenu ya ndoa, because finances keep on changing. Kuna wakati hamuna, kuna wakati ni kidogo, kuna wakati ni nyingi, zinaenda, mnaweza hata jipata mmetoka kwa nyingi mmerudi kwa kidogo.
Kwa sababu ya muda wetu. So mali John huko na Mary huko, tumesema ni kitu ya kwanza, tumesema communication ni ya maana kwa hiyo jamii yenu, na tukasema kitu ya ingine ya pili, muweze kama communication ni kitu ya maana, kwanza mkae chini muongee, muelewane. Then kitu ya pili tumesema nini?
And I think walikuwa communicate.
Walikuwa communicate.
Well, there was also the issue of having to sit down and creating time. Na ya tatu, ikiwezekana, ikiwa hawaelewani, wa involve mtu ambaye atawapa wa mashauri.
Then you remember you are one. So kile cha mume wako ndio cha mke wako, mko kitu moja. Mfanye kwa pamoja, kwa sababu ndio ndoa yenu iweze kuenda mbele na Mungu aweze kuwabariki. Ni hayo kwa sasa.
In addition, in the book of Genesis, a woman is a helper, the husband. So, you Mary, be the helper, and that is enough.
Stay tuned for the next lesson to learn about submission in marriage. To get the notes of today's lesson, visit www.mbcimedia.com/The Marriage Classroom. Catch the repeat of this episode every Tuesday at 10 p.m.